Can you believe it? Family Guy hit our TV screens for the first time on January 31st, 1999. The show developed a cult following, was canceled, and resurrected on Fox. Then it became more popular than ever. We have seen some crazy stuff over the past 2 decades. Here are IGN's picks for the best 10 episodes. Something 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 Dark Side was the second in the show's trilogy of Star Wars parodies. The episode beats were pretty much the same as the first installment, Blue Harvest. The power in the Griffin household goes out, forcing Peter to entertain his family with a retelling of The Empire Strikes Back, with typical Family Guy-style reverence. This episode follows 2 hilarious storylines. In the first, Peter sells Meg to the Goldman family after racking up a huge debt at Goldman's pharmacy. It ends like this.
You can call me Mystique.
In the other story, Stewie becomes overly attached to his new babysitter, LaDawn, and his verbal attack on her boyfriend is easily one of Stewie's greatest moments on the show.
Ha! I got your hat! Take that, hatless! Now go back to the quad and resume your hacky sack tourney!
Before its temporary cancellation, Family Guy introduced a potential little brother for Stewie, Bertram. Bertram comes to be after Peter accidentally trashes samples at a fertility clinic, then decides to refill them, and in the process, accidentally gets the samples mixed up. 9 months later, Bertram is born. But there's only room for one megalomaniacal baby in Quahog, and the episode concludes with Bertram versus Stewie for control of the playground. The battle involves clashing swords, armies of toddlers and miniature fighter jets, and Apache helicopters. Peter ticks death up on his offer to travel back to 1984 for a day and relive his youth. Peter ditches Lois at their high school prom, and it changes the future drastically, causing Al Gore to be elected president and Lois to marry Quagmire instead of him. Seeing the 3 Griffin children with Quagmire chins is reason enough to earn this episode a gold star, but seeing Peter stumble his way, fail after fail, through a Back to the Future parody earns this episode a spot on our list of all-time favorites. Airing in late December of 1999, Da Boom shows a possible post-apocalyptic future for Quahog after the Y2K bug wreaks havoc on the world. A lot happens. The Griffins encounter Randy Newman in the wastelands, Peter discovers a vast cache of Twinkies, Stewie morphs into a radioactive squid monster, and there's a live-action finale that pays homage to Dallas. But most importantly, this episode marks the birth of the rivalry between Peter and Ernie, the giant chicken, and a fistfight that may never end. One imagines that the Family Guy crew and the FCC don't have the warmest relationship. The show often pushes the boundaries of good taste and what's acceptable to air in a TV-14 context. Perhaps this episode was a way for the writers to relieve some tension and have a few laughs at the agency's expense.
What are you doing?
Censoring real life.
His chin looks like balls. You want me to cover that too?
From a lengthy sequence of Osama bin Laden goofing his way through an anti-American video to Peter running his own R-rated TV network, it was an episode where all the shots fired seemed to hit their target. And it offered one of Family Guy's first elaborate song and dance numbers.
You'll never win by messing with the fellas at the freaking FCC.
You ever heard of the multiverse theory, Brian?
Well, of course I have, but I'm wondering if you have.
Oh my God, so transparent.
What could go wrong when Brian and Stewie explore the many versions of Quahog that exist in the multiverse, including a Flintstones-esque Quahog full of rock-themed sexual innuendo, a world where the Japanese won World War II, the Robot Chicken universe, a live-action universe, and the universe of misleading portraiture. Well, the plot was about as bare bones as they come, but the various bizarro world versions of Quahog never failed to entertain. This is Family Guy, so even something as serious as a stroke is played for laughs repeatedly.
Stroke! Stroke!
To make a long story short, Peter tries to grow a mustache, fails, and then emotionally eats a ton of McBurgertown burgers and has a stroke. The ridiculousness only continues as Peter instantly cures himself with stem cells, then travels to the McBurgertown factory and meets a talking cow that leads to this peculiar scene.
Hold your fire. There's no life forms aboard.
Hold your fire? What are we, paying by the laser now?
Blue Harvest was Family Guy's first attempt at devoting an hour-long episode to lampooning the Star Wars franchise, and it remains the best of the saga. Blue Harvest efficiently worked its way through the events of Episode 4, taking time along the way to also spoof everything from Deal or No Deal to asteroids to airplane. Through it all, the episode maintains a sense of authenticity, thanks in part to the fact that it features real music and visual effects from Episode 4.
John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra, everybody.
This is our absolute favorite Family Guy episode, The Road to Rhode Island. Brian volunteers to pick Stewie up from his grandparents' house and fly him home, only to land both of them in trouble when his plane tickets are stolen. Thus begins a crazy road trip back to Quahog. Not only was it one of the funniest Family Guy stories ever scripted, but it had some tear-jerking moments, like a visit to the puppy mill where Brian was born.
Brian, your mama gave you up because she thought you'd have a better life if she let you go.
It was this blend of irreverence and sentimentality that helped to establish Family Guy as one of the greatest animated series of all time, and why, after all these years, we're still laughing. Which Family Guy moment sticks out to you the most? Tell us in the comments section. And don't forget to check out our video with the Family Guy cast revealing jokes that went too far, plus a deleted scene from season 16. And as always, be sure to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.